You ever wonder why people disappear from your life? Why one day they're standing beside you saying they'll never leave, and the next day they're gone? No warning, no goodbye, just silence. It eats at you, doesn't it? You lie awake asking yourself what you did wrong, why everyone you love seems to walk away eventually. But here's the truth you keep avoiding. God took them out of your life for a reason. You think it was a mistake. You think you scared them off, or maybe you weren't enough. But no, kid, it was never about that. It was never about you not being enough. It was about God seeing what you couldn't. He saw behind the smiles, behind the nice words, behind the fake loyalty. He saw their intentions, and he saw how they would have destroyed you if he let them stay. You call it heartbreak. God calls it protection. You think he's punishing you. He's actually saving you. That pain you're feeling right now, it's the sound of chains breaking. It's heaven's way of saying you deserve better. You thought those people were your ride or dies. You swore they had your back. You poured your soul into them, carried their pain like it was your own. And when you finally needed them, they vanished. You thought they'd fight for you, but all they did was drain you. And now you're here, sitting in the ruins of something you thought would last forever. But what you don't realize is God burned that bridge because you were never meant to cross it again. You think you lost something valuable, but really you were being rescued. They were taking from you, slowly bleeding your light dry, and you didn't even see it because your heart was too pure, too loyal. You were giving and giving, thinking that one day they'd finally see your worth. But they never did. They never would, because some people can't handle real love. They can't handle loyalty. They don't know how to cherish someone genuine because they're too busy chasing things that sparkle but don't shine. So God stepped in. He said enough. He looked at you broken, tired, clinging to people who kept cutting you, and he tore them away. Not to hurt you, but to heal you, because he knew you wouldn't do it yourself. He knew you'd keep trying to fix people who were never meant to be fixed. He knew you'd keep setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. So he took them out of your life for your survival. Yeah, it hurts. Yeah, it feels like betrayal. But trust me, it's divine surgery. God had to remove the infection before it spread any further. You think the loneliness means he abandoned you? No. The loneliness is just the quiet after the storm. It's the peace that follows the chaos. You just don't recognize it yet because you've been living in noise for so long. You've mistaken toxicity for comfort. But this silence, it's holy. It's sacred. It's where you finally hear his voice saying, I took them away so you could finally find yourself. You were losing yourself trying to keep them. You were twisting, shrinking, dimming your own light just to make them comfortable. That's not love. That's bondage. And God couldn't stand to see his child live like that anymore. So he cut the cords. He ended the cycle. And now you're free, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. You think you need them to be whole, but you don't. You never did. They were a lesson, not a lifetime, a chapter, not the whole story. And God's not done writing yet. I know you want answers, you want closure, but the truth is, sometimes closure's just God saying, trust me. You don't need to know why they left. You just need to know that it was necessary, because if they stayed any longer, they would have held you back from everything he's preparing for you. You were praying for peace, right? You were asking for clarity, for growth, for purpose. Well, this is it. This is how God answers prayers. Not always with additions, but with subtractions. He doesn't just bless you by giving. Sometimes he blesses you by taking away. You wanted loyalty. He removed the fakes. You wanted love. He removed the users. You wanted peace. He removed the chaos. You wanted growth. He removed the people keeping you small. So don't call it loss. Call it alignment. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. The problem is we fight him. We beg for the same people he's trying to protect us from. We cry for the same doors he's closing in mercy. And all the while he's whispering, "Child, if only you knew what I'm saving you from." You think you're missing out. You're not. You're making room. Room for the right people. Room for real love. Room for the version of you that's been buried under all that pain. Because the truth is, you've been living small, trying to fit into lives that couldn't hold your purpose. You kept dimming your light to keep others comfortable, and God finally said, "No more." You want to know why it hurts so bad? Because endings always hurt, even when they're right. Because part of you still believes they'll come back. But if God removed them, he did it permanently. Not to punish, but to protect the peace he's building inside you. They don't belong in your next chapter. They were only meant to teach you how to value yourself. And maybe that's the real reason you're in pain. Because deep down you knew they weren't right for you, but you kept holding on anyway. You thought you could change them. You thought your love would be enough, but God said, "No, that's not your job." Your job was to learn, to grow, to recognize your worth, to understand that love doesn't mean losing yourself, that forgiveness doesn't mean access, that letting go doesn't mean weakness, it means wisdom. And that's what you're gaining right now, wisdom. The kind that only comes from heartbreak, the kind that turns pain into power. One day you're going to thank God for every person who left. You're going to look back and realize they weren't your loss. They were your lesson. You'll see how their absence made room for something greater, something divine. Because what's coming next requires space, and God had to clear it for you. But before he can fill your life with blessings, he's got to make sure your hands are empty. So yeah, he took them away, and yeah, it hurts like hell. But that pain you're feeling right now, that's transformation. That's the sound of old versions of you dying. So something stronger can be born. You're not broken, you're being rebuilt. And this time the foundation will be stronger. Built on faith, not fear. Built on truth, not illusion. So stop asking why they left. Start asking what God's trying to show you through it. Because the lesson isn't about them. It's about you. About how much you're worth. About how far you've come. About how strong you are when everything falls apart. You think you're alone, but you're not. You've got God. You've got yourself. And that's enough. That's always been enough. He took them out of your life for a reason, so you could finally stand on your own 2 feet without the weight of people who never truly had your back. He took them because he's preparing you for better. Better love. Better peace. Better purpose. And one day you'll look back and smile. Not because you forgot the pain, but because you survived it. Because you finally understand that their exit was the beginning of your freedom. So stop begging for what God buried. Stop crying for doors he locked shut. Start walking into the new season he opened for you. You've outgrown what you lost. You've leveled up. You're not who you used to be. You're wiser now, tougher now, freer now. God took them out of your life for a reason. And maybe that reason was to remind you that the only one you ever truly needed was Him. So breathe, let it go, and trust the plan. Because what's coming next will make you forget why you ever cried over what left. You think it's over, don't you? You think because they're gone, your story's done. You walk around like a ghost, half alive, half buried in memories. Every song reminds you of them. Every quiet moment echoes with their voice. You call it heartbreak, but what it really is detox. God is flushing the poison out of your soul. And it hurts because you got used to the taste. You called it love, but it was dependency. You called it loyalty, but it was chains. You called it forever, but it was a test. You don't heal by pretending it didn't happen. You heal by understanding why it had to. And that's where you are now. The breaking point, the place where God rebuilds what you kept trying to fix on your own. He took them away because you were starting to forget who you are. You stopped hearing His voice and started chasing theirs. You stopped praying and started begging people to stay. You stopped trusting God's timing and started forcing things that were never meant to last. He had to step in because you were trading peace for company, purpose for comfort, and that's not what you were made for. See, when God removes people, He's not subtracting from your life. He's refining it. He's cutting away everything that blocks His plan for you. It's like golden fire. You can't shine until the impurities are burned off. And you were surrounded by impurities dressed as love. So the fire came not to destroy you, but to reveal you. You sitting here asking, why does it have to hurt so much if it's from God? Because pain is proof of transformation. You can't become who you're meant to be while clinging to what you were meant to outgrow. God had to break your heart, to break your attachment. He had to isolate you so you'd finally see who was really there for you and who only showed up when it was convenient. They didn't walk away because you were unworthy. They walked away because they couldn't handle your growth. Your elevation exposed their intentions, and instead of clapping for your progress, they got uncomfortable with your light. So God dimmed their access, not because you hated them, but because He loved you.